Hockey Night in Canada and the NHL on Sportsnet present the Stanley Cup Playoffs.
It's just a Saturday night, yeah, a Saturday night. It's just a
It is Saturday night. It's a hot and humid day in Dallas. The Jets definitely feeling the heat as they look to avoid elimination for a second straight game and third time in these Stanley Cup playoffs. A hard-fought 4-0 win in Game 5. Winnipeg has the momentum, but they need to do something they haven't done so far, and that's win on the road. Meanwhile, the Stars looking to close out the series. That would set up a Western Conference final rematch against their rivals from Edmonton. And there it is, Saturday night, night 29 of the Stanley Cup playoffs. Great to have you along. Hope you're enjoying what is Victoria Day long weekend. David, Kelly, Luke, Kevin, Elliot, they're all ready to talk about what is an important hockey game, but clearly some things are much bigger than sports. And today, the heartbreaking news of the sudden passing of Brad Scheifele, Mark Scheifele's father. We welcome in Sean Reynolds. Sean.
Yeah, David, the big question that comes out of that is Mark Scheifele going to play? I can tell you he is going to play, and if we go through the timeline, his dad passed overnight. The Jets heard about it in the morning. That's when their head coach left the team. They were on the ice, left the team to go be with Mark Scheifele at the hotel. During that conversation, Mark told him he's going to play. His dad would have wanted that. His mom made it clear that's what his dad would have wanted. How has his teammates responded? Well, they're not shying away from it. They say they're going to go out and win this one for Brad, win this one for Mark. And if I may, just to touch on Brad Scheifele, met him a number of times, extremely positive person, always treated you amazing, always had a smile on his face. Your day got better if you spent time with Brad Scheifele. It's a bright light that has gone out here for Mark Scheifele and the Scheifele family. Our condolences to them.
Yeah, absolutely. Mary Lou, Janelle, Kyle, and of course, Mark, we're thinking about them, all of us here at Sportsnet. Thank you very much. There is Sean Reynolds. You know, Elliot, your thoughts here. This is such a heavy time, really.
Well, first of all, I wanted to shout out the Dallas Stars fan base because a number of them have made a groundswell of support of donating $55, which is Scheifele's number, to the Jets Foundation. It's an outstanding gesture, and it shows how the hockey community rallies together. I mean, obviously, nobody's going to question Scheifele's decision. There's no guidebook for this. Everybody handles it in their own way, and everybody deserves to handle it in his own way. And I think it's fair to say, no matter which team you root for, there will be a lot of Mark Scheifele fans tonight as the Jets face the Dallas Stars.
Yeah, 100%. The hockey community is such a tight-knit community. Fans, you know, are going to show their support. And the Scheifeles, by the way, are a very strong family of strong faith, and I hope that does provide some comfort and peace for them during what is this, you know, very incredibly difficult time. On the hockey front, clearly the Winnipeg Jets are going to try and ride the momentum they got in that game from Connor Hellebuck in Game 5 to even this series at 3, Kelly.
Well, I think the Jets have played two really terrific games back-to-back. And so you look at the challenge they have, though, right now. They're going to need a great game from Connor Hellebuck. Last game back home, he had 22 saves. That's his second shutout of this series, both on home ice. So he's going to have to play really, really well. There's no question about that. I thought in the second period, guys, you could really see that his game elevating last game. For me, though, because this is an elimination game, so much pressure on Hellebuck and his teammates, got to try and find a way to be as relaxed as possible. Not easy to do, but for me, it's about when you're trying to prepare in these situations, you need manageable goals. So maybe you guys, as skaters, it was your great first shift. I know for a goaltender, and many of us had this method where just take the first 5 minutes and get through it, and then build every 5 minutes, because I knew I could be perfect for 5 minutes, but it's hard to tell yourself that you can be perfect for 60 minutes.
I'm so glad you said that, because my note is just on the start. If he is dialed in from the jump, I think the starters can start to get in their heads a little bit. You can maybe have some frustration start to build. He could be an intimidating guy in net. For his size and his presence, if he's dialed in from the jump and just worries about the first couple minutes, maybe your first shot, your first save, some frustration might start to build with those stars.
I just wonder what the struggles are on the road and why. Like, is it the road routine? Because at home, like, you're at your own house, you're having your same pregame meal you've had 41 times during the regular season. You're at the hotel on the road. The meals are always different. Maybe he's a big routine guy. He doesn't like being out of his routine. But I think goaltending in the playoffs is a lot about momentum. Certainly that game he played at home, when he was comfortable, when he was in his own apartment having his pregame meal. Actually, not apartment, it's probably a huge house.
Apartment.
But I think he can carry his little tiny little like 2-bedroom apartment. I'm sure he can carry that momentum into tonight to his little tiny little hotel room in Dallas.
But here's the one thing about Dallas is they don't let you get momentum. Elliot, we've seen time and time again, as soon as you think you're getting momentum against the Dallas Stars, it goes away.
But that's the playoffs. You know, the thing about Hellebuck is I remember Game 7 against St. Louis. Like, all of us were sitting there, do you take him out? Like, the one thing that I do believe is he's shown he can overcome bad starts. But he's got to do it on the road. Like, it's never happened for him.
But what about Dallas? Remember, they lost that Game 6 to Colorado. Things were looking down, and then they've come back and win Game 7. They just don't let you get that momentum.
The playoffs are all about punch, counter punch. You take a punch, can you counter punch? And very few are better at it than Dallas. You know what the numbers that stand out on this board for me is coaches say you have a good power play and penalty kill if your number's over 100. That's 128. Like, that's spectacular. If you're doing that after a loss, you're in great shape. And not only is the team good, well, a major reason of that because the goalie's good. Ottinger is the stopper. He's prime Randy Johnson. When the team loses, you put him on the mound, and he stops the losing streak. He's been excellent at that in his career.
Well, let's go inside American Airlines Center. The great Scots, Scott Oak and Scott Arniel.
Scott, such sad news this morning. You spent some time with Mark at the hotel. Did you sense it was difficult at all for him to make the decision to play?
No, actually I didn't. That's the one thing he said right away, that he wanted to play. That would have been his dad's wish. And, you know, obviously with his teammates caring for him, being behind him, you know, that was obviously something I was, you know, I certainly was going to change his mind on. And he's pretty adamant about playing for his dad tonight.
Good teams describe themselves as family, and that would be an apt description for the Jets. So the family is in mourning heading to your biggest game of the season. How would you describe the mood of your team?
Yeah, well, it's needed now. It's been in place here for a number of years. We've had some major things happen over the last few years, whether it's players' family or whether it's coaching staff, different things. Lots happened, and guys have galvanized and really stuck together in these tough times, and that's what it takes. That's why we talk about the Jet family. And obviously, you know, Mark's dad, Mark being one of the originals coming in here in 2011, he has a relationship with an awful lot of our players and history there. So not only, you know, everyone's feeling it, but everybody also wants to go out and get him a win.
So it's against this incredibly sad backdrop that you'll play this game tonight, and then there's the challenge of having to bottle up Game 5 at Canada Life Center and play it here in Dallas tonight. How big a challenge is that?
It is big. You know, Dallas isn't going to hand us anything, and they're a great team. And, you know, we've got, I liked Game 4 for us, didn't get the results. But Game 5 was the same kind of work ethic, and you compete, but we got the rewarded. Our specialty teams are going to have to be real big in this building. But, again, it's all everybody being a part of this. And I liked a lot of what happened in Game 5 where everybody chipped in, and that's going to happen tonight.
Thank you, Scott. I appreciate your time.
All right, thanks, Scott.
All right, and you heard Scott Arniel talk about, it was a really nice interview, by the way, but you heard him also talk about, games 3 and 4 didn't go the Jets' way. He really loved what he saw in game 5. Luke, specifically probably how locked down defensively the team was.
Well, Mikko Rantanen, 0 goals, 0 assists in game 5. A huge part of that was the job of Neil Pionk and Dylan Sandberg. Not your household names, but my goodness, have they come into the picture here in this playoff run. At even strength, they played 11-40 against Rantanen, held him 4-4 in shots, 1-0 in goals. These two guys lead all Jets in time on ice. 24 minutes a game they're eating. I think it's the battle level. It's two really smart players that play really well together, but they've ramped up that physical play. Here's Neil Pionk, listed at 6 feet. He plays 4 or 5 inches higher than that. They do a great job boxing out in front of the net, whether it's in the corners. They're always aware of where he is on the ice, taking away his time and space. There's a great surf across from Sandberg, a great retrieval from Pionk. Meeting him at the net is one area where Arniel really wanted these two to focus on. Do not let any second chance rebounds and opportunities happy there, but the sticks have been great. The physicality has been great. They need to have the same job tonight. They had the matchup at home in Game 5, so we'll see if it's a little different here in Game 6. But shout out to those two guys for a great job on number 96 in Game 5.
And if it's not them, Luke, it's Morrissey and DeMello. And I think why you prefer Pionk and Sandberg is because Rantanen's pretty special, right? He's very, very skilled, great shot, great hockey IQ, but he's also a moose. That's his nickname. He's a monster, a big, big dude. And I think, like you said, Pionk plays way bigger than he is, and Sandberg's a big, big dude. So I think you prefer that for the Jets. The smaller, better skating, DeMello and Morrissey, they might not be able to hold him around the net and contain him in front of those dirty areas.
Well, here they come, both teams, big Game 6. And you talked about Rantanen a second ago. Luke called out Rantanen for not performing, but it's not because of lack of minutes. That 24-58 the other night, the most minutes of any forward in the second round in a game that didn't go to overtime. I wonder if they go to 12-6 tonight, do they feel that Heiskanen can do more minutes? Maybe that changes what we're looking at, but 3-2, you don't want to go back to Winnipeg for Game 7. He's been the hottest player of the playoffs. You ride him as long as you can. That is interesting. We'll wait to see what the lines look like because they have gone 11-7 the last 2 games. Game 5 was the first time they'd lost this season going 11-7. Maybe it's back to 12-6. How about the impact player to watch presented by Colgate, be dentist ready? Kevin, you say it's this guy, Nick Ehlers. What an impact he's had in this series.
He has. In his last 4 games, he's got 5 goals. He's +4, and arguably last game was his best. The team facing elimination. What's his greatest asset? It's his skating. When you see him early, one of his first shifts, get this puck, roll up high with a ton of speed and make plays, you know it's going to be a good night. This is how he ends the first period. An end-to-end rush. He's one of the few guys that has this in his game. Kyle Connor's another one. Other than that, I think everybody else plays a little bit more north-south heavier game. But this guy, when he skates the puck, he's dynamic. He can beat a guy in one-on-one ice. He can take D-Wen wide. I mean, that's Dadonov right there. If you're a forward skating backwards, which is an oxymoron, then you're in trouble against him. And the goal, right? Like, that's a goal scorer's goal. Say what you want about his finish ability to put that puck in like he did from the side of the net and then there. Like, Heiskanen is a great skater. I know he's just coming back. He's had an injury, but he's a great skater, and he makes up 15 feet on him right there. So he's got the hunger, the tenacious. He's kind of like a honey badger, right? Like, he's very tenacious on the puck. So certainly he's got to be one of their best players again tonight.
So like jumbo shrimp, right? An oxymoron? You've been called a jumbo shrimp.
Yeah, that is an example, Dave. I understand now that you understand.
I love that. All right, well, Ehlers
What does Ehlers' apartment look like?
5 goals. Guys, 5 goals is 38% of the scoring for Winnipeg. So they've been riding Ehlers. Meanwhile, clearly the Finns have been getting ridden by Dallas. Rantanen and Granlund, 7 goals in this series. Kelly, the other forwards combined just 2 goals. That's shocking.
Well, to Elliott's point about Dallas bouncing back, they need more from some of their more talented forwards. And you look at the drought versus the Jets, and this is incredible.
Yeah.
I can't make any sense of this. These are quality guys. And Matt Duchene, he only has 2 assists in this series, but I loved his conversation with Scott Oak last game. And then after Game 5, this is what he said. I love it. I've had a million hot streaks and a million slumps in my career. Who hasn't, right? I've played a long time. It's all about just putting your best game out on the ice. I love that. That's that veteran experience again, what I talked about last game. And even he was held off the score sheet last game. I thought he actually started to get some momentum. I thought he started to play a little bit better. And so for he and his teammates are in slumps, tonight's the night.
Listen, I'm not going to say the Dallas forwards are intimidated, but they're certainly having to measure up to all the physicality they're seeing from the Jets.
100%. I touched on this in Game 5 during the game, how physical it was. The Jets out-hit the Stars 52-33 in Game 5. They lead the NHL with 541 hits. And this man right here, Adam Lowry, their captain, leads the way with 57 of those. I think this is a tone-setting goal that he does every time before the game. Make sure you're finishing early, finishing often. He does not pass up any free hits. And I think by the time this point in the series, Game 5, I got to think that these Stars players are hearing some footsteps, starting to feel the boom a little bit, because it's every guy from top to bottom. The decor has done a great job. Pionk, Fleury, Morrissey, the human eraser, Luke Shen throwing guys around. He's 6th in the NHL, 52 hits in the playoffs. Even their top guys, like it talked about in Gabe Vilardi, it's non-negotiable for this hockey team. They've won 64% of their puck battles, and I think this is a huge part of how they got themselves back in this series, that physical element that they bring, and it's a huge part of their identity.
And you mentioned Iafallo. He's a key guy for them for many reasons. First of all, he wants to be there. He signed the contract extension. 2, he's truly a versatile forward, and what that means is he can play on any line. We've all heard that before, but why can he play on any line? Well, because he has the skill set. When he played for the Kings, he was a first liner with Kopitar and Kempe for many years. So he has the skill set and he's got the poise. Remember, the first line gets a leash to make offensive plays. He's proven that he has the skill set to make plays when he gets that leash. So he can play in your top line if you want, but if you don't, you have a lot more depth, he can also play on your bottom end. So that's a skill play. That backhanded pass, rocket on the tape, is a first line skill play, right? But he can also play on your 3rd or 4th because he values the intangibles, the hits, the blocks, and he leads their team in shorthanded ice time. So truly, he can embrace his role. If he's on the 4th line, he's probably doing more of that. If he's on your 1st line and you slide Vilardi down, then he's probably making more plays. Key guy for them.
Kevin, the guy I'm watching tonight is on the other blue line, and that's Miro Heiskanen. This will be Game 3 of the series for him. They've kind of eased him in a little bit. First game under 15 minutes. Second game 18.5. There's his regular season average, 25-10. They've protected him a bit by dressing 7D. We'll see what they decide to do tonight. It's tough to tell in warm-ups because Lyubushkin doesn't take any of the line rushes, but you wonder if they're saying, okay, he's had a couple games to dip in his toe. Dave, is he ready for more of a real workload?
Lyubushkin looks like a guy that does need to touch the puck in warm-up. And coming up more from Kevin, he has a new trend he's noticed. He says that's causing goals to be scored. As well, Scott Oak one-on-one with Jason Robertson as our playoff coverage continues.
Search spy movies.
Rogers Xfinity is here with the next generation of streaming. Now Keanu can spend more time watching all his TV.
Yes! Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on!
All his streams.
What? You're so cute.
Even the shows Keanu can't help but love.
My list.
The best entertainment experience is here with Rogers Xfinity.
Yeah, I was sick of dreaming smaller. I was sick of investing but not seeing my money grow. Sick of feeling like I was leaving money on the table. I was sick of paying high fees and not knowing if I'm even making the right investments. To become a better investor, I needed the right tools, stock insights, and proper guidance. That's why I switched to Questrade.
Sometimes it pays to be a bad fan. Every game is your game when you bet with Sports Interaction.
Hey guys, what can I get started for you today?
Bananas away, regular?
And I'll have the Rip Berry, but can I get vanilla oat milk and I'll add spinach and ginger? And can I substitute the raspberries for strawberries? Also add the chia and hemp seed, and definitely have the power booster and the collagen booster. And can I get that blended twice?
Wow.
For Alicia, Custom Chaos? One of a kind.
You're one of a kind.
Booster Juice, freshly made your way.
Maybe. Uptime means more payments, more connections, more orders. Uptime means everything to your small business because there's no time for downtime. Get Rogers Business Internet with our 99.99% uptime guarantee.
During the Ford It's a Big Deal event, we asked the tough questions. Like, what if an offer on an F-150 looked as good as an F-150? Right now, get a big deal when you lease this F-150 for $110 a week. This deal won't last forever.
Hey guys, what can I get started for you today?
Bananas away, regular?
And I'll have the rip berry, but can I get vanilla oat milk and I'll add spinach and ginger? And can I substitute the raspberries for strawberries? Also add the chia and hemp seed and definitely have the power booster.
Clothing provided by Jack Victor.
As the official fuel of the NHL, Esso's dedicated to Canada's game. Visit esso.ca/Stanley Cup for a chance to win one of 3 trips to a Stanley Cup final game. Let's send it over to Kevin Bieksa, ready to teach us some things. Kev, what do you have?
Thanks, David Amber. Well, what I have is a trend that I'm finding in the playoffs that is creating a lot of offense and odd man rushes. I'm going to show you 3 different series here. When we say defensive side of the puck, this is what we're talking about. So in the Jets series, you're going to see when this play happens, and they usually are happening that I'm seeing just inside the blue line on both sides. So stop right here. You see clearly this defenseman is into his forward. Now the next guy coming in the pile, which is Velarde here, he has to come on the defensive side, which means in between his goalie and the puck. If he doesn't, and he goes into this pile, it's double coverage. If a puck squeaks out, then you're susceptible to an odd man rush. So as we run this here, you're going to see coming into the pile, not quite aware of defensive side, puck comes out. Now here's a quick strike. 2-on-1 off the crossbar, doesn't quite hurt them. Now this series, the Toronto, Florida. Again, confrontation around the blue line. That's Benoit into the forward. Now Tavares coming in, ideally he would get on the defensive side instead of trying to fish this puck out. He doesn't do that. Marner's going to jump into the neutral zone, which he's fine doing. And when we run this here, you're going to see a puck again just pop out. Here comes the speed. Now it's a quick strike 2-on-1. This one ends up in the back of the net. Big goal in that series right there. Third example, third series, Oilers again. Now you got 2 guys. You have Draisaitl the forward, you got Nurse Sadie. Ideally, again, Nurse Sadie would be out of this pile a little bit on the defensive side in case a puck takes off, and pops out. Forwards are in the other zone. But because this is going to be a 4-on-3 here, not on the D side, puck squeaks out, and the speed comes in, and it's another quick strike 2-on-1 at the net, and Byfield's going to make them pay as well. So again, that's what we're talking about when we say defensive side of the puck, because there's bad bounces that happen in the playoffs. Watch for it again in this series tonight.
Oh, that's good stuff there, Kevin. Thank you. The big board presented by Bet365, and we welcome in Jamal Mayers. He's going to teach us some things as well. And Jammer, we saw an incredible defensive performance from the Winnipeg Jets in that Game 5 victory. But you also like the fact that their D-men can jump in and attack as a 5-man unit. Explain.
Yeah, I think the panel did a great job of explaining how Sandberg and Pionk have done the job defensively, obviously against Rantanen, and how well he has been playing, but they've also been able to step up offensively. It's because of those things rooted in the defensive game. But for me, it starts with the evolution this year of Sandberg's defensive game. It allows Pionk to trust his instincts. Pionk has 2 assists in Game 5. How is he able to do that? How are they both able to do it? Great gap control, early position in the offensive zone, getting their shots through, and an awareness how and when to keep plays alive. And it all is predicated on both of their great skating ability to be able to trust each other. A great player that's been able to do things both offensively and defensively.
Yeah, 10 assists so far for defensemen in this series for Winnipeg. They're still waiting their first goal. Maybe tonight is the night. Meanwhile, we keep talking about the greatest strength maybe of this Winnipeg team is their depth. Do you agree, Jamal?
Yeah, it really has performed so far, especially in this series. And you thought, how are they going to get it done? Well, you know what? Nemesnikov has done it. The second line has to do it again, but it's going to be even more difficult tonight on the road as they won't have the preference of change. So you think about Ehlers in last game, 2 goals. Nemesnikov, goal and assist. Perfetti, how are they getting it done? Speed, skill, absolutely. But there's a relentlessness to their game. And there's a heaviness in the puck area. It doesn't matter how big you are. In today's game, how hard are you in the puck area to show your skill? And they've done that.
Yeah, 13 different goal scorers, 7 players with at least 3 goals, so it has been scoring by committee so far. It hasn't been the case for Dallas. Mikko Rantanen, as Kelly was pointing out, has completely carried the mail for this team. You want another young star, though, on this team to start doing a little bit more. Who's that?
It's Wyatt Johnston, and he has done the job, but a lot of it has been done for him on the power play, because 5-on-5, it's really not good enough. Minus 13 in the playoffs. He's minus 4 in this series. He's only been a plus in 2 of the 13 games so far this year in the playoffs. What it is for me is an attention to detail, a willingness to be responsible, and as Kevin so eloquently put it, being on the defensive side of the puck so that you're not a minus. Can you imagine? Minus 13? Well, you know what? He's got to find a way to turn that around.
Yeah, that's a big dash indeed. Thank you so much, Jammer. We always appreciate bringing the info here. It is Bet365, and that is the big board. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Let's get you back out to American Airlines Center. Scott Oak with Jason Robertson.
Jason, what's the one thing more important than any other the Stars need tonight if you're to close out the Jets?
I think we just got to stay disciplined, not necessarily just penalties, but throughout the game, not try to force things. Don't make it too difficult on ourselves. And really just play our game.
Your team needs more offense than it got in Game 5, and you can help with that as you await your first goal. Do you feel like you're close?
Yeah, I feel like every game I'm progressing, getting better. Not easy comeback, but I know, a lot of guys have to do it, so I just got to get a little more shot volume and try to get some more rebounds and stuff, and hopefully we'll go in.
Thanks, Jason. I appreciate your time.
Yeah, thanks,
All right, thank you, Scott. Jason Robertson looking for his first goal. The Jets looking for their first road win, trying to stave off elimination one more time and force a Game 7. We're circling towards puck drop. Dallas and Winnipeg is coming up.
Take me downtown. I'm just looking